Dr. Homebrew is brought to you by 5 Star Chemicals, providing safety and cleaning supplies for brewing, distilling, and winemaking at 5starchemicals.com.
Doctor, look.
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Stand clear.
All right, here we are, another Dr. Homebrew show with a bona fide doctor. Dr. Scott is joining us.
Oh. Thank you, Doctor.
How you doing, buddy? How are you, Doctor?
I'm good. Doctoring it up.
You got to do it. Lee, unfortunately, is still out sick, so get better, buddy. Not that we don't like Doc, but, we miss you, Lee. So
Lee's a little better looking.
I don't think so.
He's taller.
Taller?
So what?
But that's all. I don't know. No,
they both have glasses.
No, that's true.
I'm only wearing them so I can read my score sheet.
Yeah.
Little readers, everyday readers or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Leave them all around the house.
But being a real doctor makes him, instantly 2 points more attractive. Didn't they do a Mythbusters thing about that?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. They changed the profession of the person on the screen. They had people rate them on, on a 10-point scale. And it's like, this guy is a ditch digger, and then the same picture, and neurosurgeon, and it's like instantly 10 points.
Oh yeah.
Well, I can imagine.
Versus 8 or 7 before.
No one wants to get stuck with a ditch digger, you know what I mean? Unless you're laying irrigation or you're a landscaper, then then it's
if you're
great.
a union worker, you're probably
you're probably all right with it. All right, before we get into all the excitement here today, I want to talk about our fine sponsor, 5 Star. You can go to 5starchemicals.com, and they have everything you need to clean and sanitize, everything that you got going on here for sure. Your bottles, your anything, man. Anything you need to clean and sanitize, which is the key. We talk about it every show, and I want to keep talking about it until people realize. You clean it first, and then you sanitize it. Right, Dr. Scott?
You clean it twice.
You clean it twice,
and
even.
You sanitize it.
And then if you're a doc, you clean it again and make sure it lines up straight with everything else next to it.
Yeah. Maybe you get to brewing.
Depending how dirty, you peel off the layer of scum.
Right.
Then you clean it. Then you rinse off the cleaner residue. Then you sanitize it. That's a no-rinse step. So it's really 4 steps.
Exactly, right?
Shouldn't it be 5 steps?
Well, maybe.
5 star.
5 star, baby.
Star. We'll invent another step.
That's right.
You breathe on it and say a little poem that they'll feed to you.
So check out 5starchemicals.com, and seriously, if you're not using them, check them out. And if your local homebrew shop doesn't have them, or whichever homebrew shop you choose to order from, if they don't carry it, tell them they really should, man, because
have a heart-to-heart with those people.
It's the goods, man, that's for sure.
Fight the good fight.
I also want to talk to you about Grog Tag. So, we have a few very awesome sponsors on the show, but one of them being Grog Tag. And right now they're running a Kickstarter program for customizable tap handles, which is kind of the first thing I've really seen about it. And not just like the engraving or, you can choose from 5 different images. No, you can use, they have images for sure, just like they're really cool labels. But you can upload your own image. You can put your own thing on your tap handle for once. And it's kind of a modular deal, too. You get the stem and you get the topper, or the base, rather. And then you just screw that on. Or you can screw the topper right onto to your tap handle as well. It's the same thread. And there you go. You can easily swap out between beers. It's pretty cool. Go to grogtag.com/Kickstarter and check out how you can help these guys make this project a reality. As with anything on Kickstarter, you get some pretty cool rewards for backing it, of course. We'd like additional bases, some extra toppers, maybe some free coasters. It depends on what you're doing. And, of course, these are going to be awesome tap handles. GrogTag is known for having those kind of high standards and delivering that in every box. They're reusable labels and bottle caps and all that kind of stuff that we know them and love them for. They're pretty cool. And the tap handles are going to be no different. I was talking to Todd over there at GrogTag the other day, and he's like telling me about the past few months they've been testing different handles and sizes and shapes and all that kind of stuff because they want to find the absolute best that they can deliver and then, of course, print a high-quality image on it. So check them out, grogtag.com/Kickstarter. Let me check that off my list. Done.
I'm going to back that project.
back that project up. Oh, nice. Look at that. You're already on your phone doing it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, Brian. Thank you. Okay, so today we are talking to Jen, and we are also going to speak with Joe. See, last show we had 2 Brians. Now we have 2 people with J's.
Jen and Joe.
Jen and Joe, laid back. I don't know, whatever. Jen has a Black IPA, which would be cool. We haven't had one of these in a while. Wasn't there like a kind of a run on these, Brian, like maybe a year and a half ago? Which every other show we had a Black IPA.
Yeah, they jumped in popularity.
They really
Yeah,
did.
when the style first came out,
Yeah.
everybody was trying to figure out what it should be,
Right.
and put their own little swing on it.
Yeah, we had a few of them, man. It was weird.
There was a fight about the name too. I mean, you could still call it a Cascadian dark ale or a
Dark ale.
I like that name too, but it's a little pretentious sounding to me. It's like,
You think?
and a little Northwest centric maybe.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Everyone in Oregon wants credit for something that they didn't.
those
Very
damn
weird.
Oregonians.
You'd think they were mostly
I
Californians.
used to live there.
And then we're going to talk to Joe, and he has a so this kind of goes back to our last show. We were talking about what style guidelines to use, and we're still on the old ones, but I didn't tell Joe that again. So he threw in a 28A American Wild Ale, Brett beer, but I think we're judging it as a 19W or whatever the hell it is.
I just judged it as a 28A and looked at it also has a Saison declaration, so we kind of looked at that too. Yeah, we gave it a fair judging. We knew what it was.
Did you do that too?
No, I just basically judged it as a straight Brett beer.
Okay.
I didn't.
Well, that's cool.
I didn't push the Saison thing.
Yeah. I think that'll
Probably
be great.
better that I didn't.
Actually, this will be rad because we can get a pretty good comparison of the same beer with different style guidelines. Yeah. I'm interested in that. But in the notes, he says it's a mixed culture. It's a Saison base with Sack and Brett. Exact strains are unknown. Yeast was cultured from a bottle of something called Hill Farmstead Arthur, and I don't know what that means, but we're going to find out, man. I need to know the info. Okay, we're going to take a break. I know we just jumped into the show here, but we're going to get Jen on the line and talk about her Black IPA and all that kind of stuff. But we need a break to do that, so we'll be right back. It's Dr. Homebrew. Stick with us.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Games.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states. Plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small, single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite Bare Bones Club, where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy shit!
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business. Now, back to the examination.
All right, thanks for hanging with us. Wow, I caught that just in time, didn't I?
Yeah.
The cough. If I waited half a second more, no one would have heard that.
Well, he's a doctor, he has to cough every once
I
in a
thought
while.
I was just going to get it just before you did that.
You just grabbed him in the right place, JP.
Yeah. Okay, on the phone we should have Jen. Jen, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Oh, how are you doing?
Good. Does it sound okay?
Yeah, it sounds fine. Sounds all right.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, by the way. Appreciate it.
Oh, no, thanks for having me.
So you have sent us a Black IPA. And now, if I remember correctly, your first shipment kind of broke. You were supposed to be on an earlier show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad. I hate to see beer go to waste.
Yeah, for some reason they sent it back, but they said it should have never been sent back. I was like, oh, well, I'll just try it again.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be honest. I'm glad I didn't have to deal with it, so...
Yeah, it was my first time ever trying to send anything, and it's not quite fun.
Yeah. But these made it just fine. So I think you had and I've been doing this for about 2.5 years or so, and I think we've only had two broken bottles, I think, and maybe yours is the third one. So it's pretty good odds for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you're all right. All right, Jen. Well, before we get started, how long have you been a home brewer?
A little over a year now.
Okay. Are you a big fan of the Black IPA style, or is this a first attempt at doing this, or where are we with that?
It's actually my very first batch that I actually tried to do a second one of because I like the style, but it's really hard to find a style that I like. Because it seems like every single one is brewed totally different, and to find a good one is hard.
Yeah,
so I want to make mine the one I like.
Right. Is this extract or all grain?
It's all grain.
It's all grain. Wow, I've only been homebrewing a year, and you're cranking out all grain already.
We only did one extract batch because we were waiting on getting our mash tun together, and then we just jumped right into all grain.
Yeah, smart, man. Don't even mess around with that. I mean, extract is it's cool. It's one of those things where you do to test the waters. Do I really like this?
I don't know. I knew I would love it, so why not just jump right in?
Yeah, that a girl. That's good. That's good news. Okay, so this is your second attempt at the Black IPA style. Let's go, Brian. You're up, buddy.
Yeah, hey, thanks for sharing it with us. Coming in on the nose here, it does have a pleasant tropical hop note, very noticeable up front. A little bit of resiny, citrusy undertones in there. Pretty smooth hops overall. Very, very low dark malt. It's pretty much out of the way as it should be. Just a light little kind of light chocolate note and some dark bread, kind of a little bit of a wheat bread kind of aroma below that.
Wheat bread,
kind of clean, fruity esters. Yeah.
Okay, that's a
good
description.
You don't want this beer to be roasty and smoky and acrid, or you don't want any heavy dark malt character. It's a flaw in this beer. So I think it treads the line nicely. It's hard to make a black IPA where if you closed your eyes and smelled it, that you would know it was not just a regular IPA. I mean, this, you can smell it. You smell some of the dark malt, and that's fine. It's it's a dark beer, so it's hard to get all of that out of there. And why would it be a different beer if you could make it taste exactly like a regular IPA? I mean, I suppose some of them you could, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It might be weird. It's clean. There's no DMS. I'm not getting any diacetyl. I'll let Doc be the judge on that one. But yeah, it seems clean. It seems really nicely brewed. Appearance-wise, it's a rich, dark brownish black color with it had a fluffy light tan head that persisted pretty well on the sample I judged last night. The glass is here. It's kind of fading a little bit faster, but no, it's a nice looking beer. It looks just about like it should. I gave it a 3 out of 3 for appearance. Flavor wise, the malt's a bit roastier in the flavor than it is in the nose. So just a touch of ash and smoke in the flavor. It's not harsh or acrid or biting. It's there a little bit more in the flavor. But it's still pleasant, and the hops come through pretty nicely. Like by the aroma, I thought it was going to be hoppier than it was, and I think it's kind of I don't know if it's a bitterness thing. The bitterness is kind of just medium and kind of just there. It's not biting. You don't want it too harsh and in the way. I think it's you could maybe get away with bumping up the bitterness just a little bit, but then you also want to be careful not to fight with the bitterness of the dark malt too. So like there's some bitterness here, and maybe combined between the hops and the dark malt, it's kind of borders on a medium high, but it's not all like a hop bitterness, if you know what I mean. So kind of a weird way to say it, but
your dark malts will contribute bitterness, not IBUs, but bitterness.
I would bump up the hop bitterness on this and pull back the roast bitterness a little bit. If there's a way to do that, like experimenting with different, Carafa malts, and
if there's a way to do that.
the way to adding them.
It would take a homebrewer to tell you, Jen, but
they're a really good judge, maybe. So you're not going to find one of those around here.
None of us hacks.
That's right.
So the hops do come through pretty nicely in tandem with that. Citrus and tropical, some definite dark malt, and it finishes nicely dry as it should for an IPA. Again, the ferment seems clean. It's a nicely brewed beer. But the flavor, I like the aroma a little bit better than the flavor, and it didn't have as much of that. Just it smelled like IPA with a little dark, and then you taste it, and it's like kind of dark and IPA in combination. Mouthfeel wise, medium light bodied, low astringency, probably from some of the darker malts in there. Medium high carbonation. I think any serious alcohol warmth, there might be a touch in there, but
I'll think a little bit.
A little bit,
yeah.
It's pretty smooth and creamy and feels about like it should in the mouth. So yeah, it's a pretty pleasant, smooth drinking black IPA. Yeah. Overall, I like it. Very good aroma. Has a lot going for it. Some of the flavor elements are just a little unharmonious. Getting a little more ashy and dark malt character in there than I like, but it covers up some of those pleasant hops that are obviously there that I detected in the aroma to a high degree. So, I would increase the late hop additions in this a little bit, and or dry hops, and work on the dark malt addition. One of the ways you can do it. I mean, you're obviously, I'm sure if you know what you're doing with your recipe, which it seems like you do, you're using a dehusked Carafa type malt. I'm not sure if it's the 1, 2, 3 or something else, but
I think it's 12.
Yes,
I think it's the dehusked 12.
It's episode 12,
where it's just the nub of the grain, and they've dehusked it so much. It's just the nub.
It's just the very inner kernel.
Yeah, it's called Vireman nubs.
They've taken away 60% of the outer kernel, and they just got to that tiny little inside fragment.
That's all it is.
What are we making sake now?
So you can add your dark malts just before the sparge, and you don't have to mash them. Definitely, I mean sometimes you can just do them, even in the runoff. If I've done it where I had like a colander, and I put the Carafa in a colander, with like a little grain bag or something in there, and put the dark malts in there, and the runoff from my sparge was flowing through that.
Oh,
to give it the color.
How'd that work?
I got the color I wanted. It was nice.
Awesome.
And it was pretty smooth, but it's still hard to avoid all of the kind of dark malt flavors that you get from even a dehusked malt. So, you could even steep it in the boil. There's a lot of other ways you can do it and experiment with it and try different dehusked malts to do that. I don't necessarily have a favorite. I think the 2 and the 3 can be fun to work with. I don't know, but yeah, just play around with those and have some fun. It'd be nice to know which ones you did use, and learn a little more about your recipe. But I think you did a good job. I gave it a 34.
Awesome. All right, Doc, you're up, buddy.
All right, my turn. Let's start with the aroma. Great aroma too. Fruity hops. It was really good. I got some astringency a little bit in there. Roastiness, a little bit of malty notes, but no off aromas other than that. Maybe just the astringency is probably from the the darker grains, and I definitely smelled some roastiness in there, but nothing else in there. No diacetyl, nothing bad.
Nice. Passed the dock test, Jen.
Yeah. So appearance is great. I mean, the color is awesome. It's dark, almost opaque with ruby highlights. It's clear. It's really nice. The head's there. It doesn't stay quite as long, but it's definitely sticks around. So the appearance is really good. I got some pretty good hop flavor in there. It could use a little bit more. I was expecting more, as Brian was, from the aroma, and I get a lot of bitterness in it, and that's not hop bitterness. It's roasty bitterness that I'm getting, and it's masking that quite a bit. In fact, I get a lot of roastiness and a lot of acidic characters to it, which goes back to the dark husk grains. Mouthfeel was good body, not too thin. It's a little bit of creaminess, but well balanced in the mouthfeel. A little bit of stringency from the dark grains, and a little bit of the lingering bitterness I got. And still, that's dark grain stuff.
Yeah.
So overall, nice hop aroma and color, great for that. I just think it's a little bit too roasty and too bitter from that. Overall, nice beer. Just needs a little more balance between what an IPA is and the roastiness that you're adding into it.
Okay.
Again, I would cut back on the amount of grains for that, and it's the timing thing. Really, you don't need to mash those grains. You're going to get too much of this coming through.
Yeah.
There's nothing in there to convert anyway.
Right.
Once they roast them that dark, there's nothing left.
They're just kind of in there out of convenience, really.
Yeah, you're going to get the flavors, and you're not getting any sugars. You're not converting anything.
Yeah.
I've done a couple of ways. One's the tea bag as it's coming in. Then the other one is I grind it up real fine. Use a lot less, and I grind it up real fine in a coffee grinder. And as I start to sparge, I sprinkle it on top of the mash. And I get plenty of color.
When you say a lot less, is there a ratio, or not, like a percentage less maybe? So if I had like half a pound, okay. So if I had half a pound of patent,
of regular crushed grain,
yeah.
I'm grinding it up real fine. I'm looking for color and some roastiness flavors in there mostly.
Espresso grind.
Yeah, basically that's what it is. It's just powdery now, and it's got so much surface area. The color just comes right out of it.
Okay, so if you had half a pound in 5 gallons, let's say, you would do a quarter pound of real fine.
Yeah.
Okay. And
or even a little less. And you got to experiment in and out of that.
Yeah.
Because it goes along with what's the base beer.
Well, you can also start gradual. I mean, you can start more conservative and then steep a little more if you didn't get the color you wanted.
Yeah, because you can always go to the steeping it in the grain bag.
Or even add some Cinnamar in the secondary.
I've done that too.
Yeah.
But
okay. Well, let's find out what Jen did. Are you done, Doc? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm done. I gave you 33. I thought it was actually a pretty good beer all the way. I just had a couple of balance issues. I didn't have any other off flavors or anything in there.
Just like us.
Yeah. Cleanly brewed. Nice job.
All right, Jen. Let's talk about this beer a little bit. What's the recipe? If you wouldn't mind, and then I want to talk about how you did handle those dark grains, because it does sound like that was well. First of all, hold on. I want what don't you like about this beer? Because you said you're trying to dial it in, right?
Yeah, it's exactly what you guys are talking about. I wanted to figure out how to fix that.
Okay, perfect. So they hit it. Okay, so now go ahead. What's your recipe?
I had 8 pounds of two-row, a pound of Munich, and then it's a half a pound of black patent and a half a pound of midnight wheat.
Midnight wheat. Okay. Is that for 5 gallons?
Yep.
Okay.
Do you want the hops too?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Let's see. I did. Well, the only thing I changed from the first recipe was the hops, because the first one that I think the IBUs and the black malts were clashing, like they said, and just cutting back the IBUs didn't help. It's still there, so I think I'd put it back to the way I had it. So all I did was push the hops forward 5 minutes, and it dropped it like 5 IBUs. But I had half a pound of Columbus at 45, or half an ounce.
A pound? Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a lot.
Yeah, you might have an efficiency problem if you had half a pound.
You're brewing like me then.
A half ounce of Citra at 30 minutes, an ounce of Columbus at 20, ounce of Citra at 10, ounce of Columbus at 10, a half ounce of Citra at 1, and a half ounce of Columbus at 1.
God,
yeah, isn't that tropical from the Citra and the resiny from
the resiny from the Columbus is what I.
It's a nice combination.
It's
Those
a
two
great
hops
combo.
work well together.
Yeah, I'm smelling my glass. I hardly ever do that with a homebrew, to be honest with you. But that aroma is amazing. It smells really
I love
good.
the combination of them too. They're awesome together.
Yeah, it smells like you're getting really good hops because it smells like a pellet. Like you open a fresh 44-pound bag, from Hop Union or whatever. Like it's
Nico Brew.
Nico Brew. Thank you very much. I'm stupid. I should have thought of that in the first place. But from the actual manufacturer, like the big giant bale, right?
Yeah.
And it almost smells like powdery.
Heaven.
You know what I mean? When you open it up and you kind of like, I got some like dust in my nose.
Yeah.
That's what it smells like. It smells really good.
Yeah. I want to hone in on the Black Patent. What made you choose that malt rather than a dehusked? Or, I mean, did you get the recipe from somebody you know, or you just made it up? Or what was the situation there?
No, I just kind of walked into the grain room and decided I want to do a Black IPA and just picked some grains.
Yeah.
I was thinking about taking out the Black Patent and just doing like a quarter pound of Midnight Wheat or something like that.
I don't think Black Patent belongs in any beer.
Really.
I took it out of my oatmeal stout, and I've never looked back. I hate that beer. Or not that beer. I hate that grain because of this astringency issue.
Yeah, go to Carafa. You'll be a lot happier.
Yeah, like Brian's saying, like a dehusked Carafa, something like that, because that has that less acrid. And I don't even think it's kilned that high, so you don't get a lot of that burny, acrid nonsense, right?
Yeah.
Is it a little lighter? But
yeah, it's like a 300 range.
Yeah.
The word.
Okay.
So the husk material is where a lot of that astringency comes from, and it's. I mean, they burn it. The Black Patent, they burn it to hell, and the husk is just.
It's
torched and charcoal and burnt and acrid and smoky, and you're lucky that it's not smokier. It's a very drinkable, smooth beer. I could drink a lot of this. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I think taking this same recipe and brewing it with a Carafa 2 or whatever, and just try the same thing. Maybe even use some of the suggestions like grind it to a powder and put it on top of your sparge, like Doc was saying. I think that's a good suggestion. And just make sure you get the color you need. And as long as the color's there, you should be good. And you might want to. You can dial the bitterness up a little bit. If you have that Black Patent out of the way, you can allow a little more room for some hop bitterness and add, increase your early hop addition just a touch, maybe. But if you're calculating your IBUs to be where you want them, or you don't want it to be a very bitter IPA, you can also leave it where it is. I think it would be fine. But yeah, experiment with that. Brew it a third time, please.
Yeah.
And send it to us.
What's the alcohol range in this, Jen?
It's only 5%. I don't like the high alcohol.
Yeah, so I was thinking, maybe it needs a little sweetness, like a little more malt for that level of bitterness.
Right, because if you're cutting down the alcohol on it, alcohol's got sweetness to it.
Yeah.
If you're going to cut that back, you're going to get less sweetness in there, which is also going to balance out that roastiness and bitterness.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe like a Carafoam or something that's like a head retention thing. But to me, that grain is a little sweet. Or can she do something? Because if you drop even more of that bitter grain, I think I don't want to call it thin because it's not thin, but I think it needs some push in the mouthfeel, right?
Talk her into brewing at 6% or so. I mean, can we?
I don't know.
Can we negotiate here, Jen?
What do you think?
What's that?
Can we get you up to 6% ABV?
You can just add some sugar to it.
Just drink it a little more slowly.
Like some corn sugar.
Well, I think a little more.
And not a lot.
I think a little more malt. I think it needs a little more malt.
Then it's going to change the mouthfeel then.
I think it's nice dry the way it is.
Nice,
really?
Yeah, it's got a lighter mouthfeel.
You don't think it's a little thin before the astringency hits?
No,
okay.
I think it's pretty good. But if you put more malt in, it's gonna weigh down on it a little bit.
Okay,
I've had some IPAs that are have a little bit more malt sweetness in them that are still okay. But I think part of the key of the style is just having it be fairly dry, where the hops come off and play off the edge of that dryness, and that's key to the style.
Well, I guess that's the important thing is that this is what she wants to make.
Yeah, what you're bringing up a good point is without that alcohol sweetness in there, you're taking away from something.
Yeah.
And it's bringing out more of acrid roastiness.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'll bump it up a little bit then.
Yeah, or if you like the mouthfeel where it is, and the ABV especially where it is, then you drop some of that astringent. You have to make a concession somewhere, I think.
Right.
And it sounds like you want to drop the astringency anyway, so I think you would do that first, and then if you don't like it, then maybe you balance it out the other way with a little bit more malt. But I even had seconds, and I don't drink this shit.
That's amazing. JP had seconds of an IPA.
Right. I think you did good, Jen.
So I think what they're saying is for a beer like this it might need a little more sweetness because of the lightness of it. So you could either increase your mash temperature just a little bit, or I don't know if adding sugar is going to help. If you wanted to bring up the ABV, then add a little sugar. And
that's what I'm trying to get at. If you want to bump the alcohol content,
alcohol,
that's going to create some sweetness from the alcohol. And the easiest way to do that is add a little sugar, and it's not going to mess up your bottom end, your mouthfeel. It's not going to get thicker. Because you really want it to be drier, and you're going to get dryness, but you're still going to have some alcohol sweetness in there, which is going to make it better on the high end.
Here's a crazy idea. Oak it with medium toast Hungarian oak cubes. Or chips. They're sweet. They're much sweeter. A little bit. No? All right. Jen, do you have any questions for the guys before they beat me up for that suggestion?
I did actually have a question about water because I just started getting into water.
So the next
one I did would be water.
Yeah.
I have no calcium chloride in my water, so would I want it to be more towards like the malty side for this, or would I want it to be more like bitter or balanced?
Where's your water now? Do you have a lot
very bitter. There's only 9 sulfates and no chloride whatsoever.
Okay. Well, 9 sulfates isn't a lot either. You got to get up around the 40 to 50%.
Pretty soft water.
40 parts per million to have it do that. But yeah, if it sounds like you got soft water, so you can kind of go either way.
Which is a nice problem to have.
It is a nice problem.
I have the opposite problem.
But that's the problem is I have lots of bicarbonate in it. It's like at 150. So.
Yeah. Well, that's going to help with your dark roasted grains too.
With the dark ones. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It'll work.
That's probably why this beer is actually working with all the black patent that's there.
It'll buffer it out quite a bit because the dark grains are acidic and the bicarbs have a tendency to pull them back the other way.
All right.
Make sure you have enough calcium in there.
Did you add some calcium chloride or okay? Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to add anything to this beer, and not knowing everything that's in your water, I tend to add calcium chloride in there. It helps sweeten it out quite a bit.
Oh, so it'll
take away some of that acrid, the bitterness.
Shit, maybe she brews it again, same exact recipe, but calcium chloride in there, and just see what it does. Because if you're going to change stuff in your recipe, you change one thing, and that's what pisses me off about brewing is because it takes so long and you all this effort, but you change one thing and see what that does, and then change another thing and see what that does.
Yeah, we gave you a lot of things.
Yeah, that's what pisses me off about us. We tell people 6 things to change. We're like, pick 2 or 3 of them or do one at a time, and then
now we know Jen's going to at least brew this twice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll probably do the water first since I'm doing that, and then I'll go back to switching it if it's still the same way.
Cool. All right, Jen. Well, if that's it, we'll let you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun beer,
yeah. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Keep it up.
Bye.
Yep.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Cool. That was cool. That was a good beer. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back. We're going to talk to Joe, and then we're going to give away some prizes, and then we're going to leave, and it's, then we're going to wake up and stretch and eat breakfast. It's a whole thing. We're going to do a whole thing. It's Dr. Homebrew, everyone, back after this.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San,
Sand, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today. High Gravity Homebrewing Supplies wants you to keep it simple. Brewing should be fun. And with High Gravity's amazing electric brewing systems, it is. High Gravity keeps their brewing systems simple, on purpose. More efficient than gas, customizable, and with your choice of 1, 2, or 3 vessels, High Gravity's electric brewing systems will completely change the way you brew beer, formulate recipes, and improve your beer's consistency. Dave at High Gravity can customize your system to fit your needs. High Gravity invites you to visit their Build Your Own Brewery page and see how easy it can be to brew electric. And High Gravity offers $7.99 flat rate shipping on most of their products. www.highgravitybrew.com. High Gravity. Keep it electric. Keep it simple. Visit highgravitybrew.com. Ken Grossman of Sierra Nevada Brewing Company says making great beer is hard. Making the same great beer every day is harder. Brewers Publications announces its latest release for breweries of any type and size. Quality Management, an essential guide for brewers by Mary Pelletieri. Proper quality management for small, regional, and national breweries is critical. Whether you are an established business or brand new, learn the best ways to create and manage a quality system in your brewery. This book will guide you in developing a comprehensive program that will grow with your brewery, help ensure quality processes in the brewery, and continue providing great beer for your fans. Quality management for breweries is critical for continued success. This guidebook teaches you to integrate quality management in every level of the operation. It will guide you in developing a comprehensive program to ensure quality processes in your brewery. Quality Management, an essential guide for brewers, now available from Brewers Publications. Learn more at brewerspublications.com. Admit it. Homebrewing is not always free of frustrations. Years ago, brothers Bill and Jim Mitchell decided to minimize those frustrations and create an entirely new brewing process and a brand new kitchen appliance, the Pico Brew Zymatic. The Zymatic sits on your kitchen counter and connects to the internet via Wi-Fi. It comes with access to a huge recipe library full of award-winning beers and can brew your next batch at the push of a button. Improve repeatability and refine your recipes with the Pico Brew Zymatic. With minimal cleaning and hassle, the Zymatic enables anyone to brew craft beer in the comfort of their own kitchen. Just add your ingredients and the process of homebrewing becomes simplified and automatic, allowing you to focus on what really matters while you brew. At Pico Brew, they believe everyone should be able to enjoy the art of homebrewing and make their own damn good craft beer. See the Zymatic in action today at picobrew.com.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
All right, thanks for sticking with us, everybody. Just pouring the next beer. Oh, man. See, what I didn't do is call our next guest. I didn't call Joe. So here I am like a dummy. Now
Joe's
I have
just
to call,
waiting by the phone for you to call him, JP.
Right? I'm going to read his number out loud. Because
where does he live?
Man. He's a local boy. He just couldn't make it into the show.
Oh, so it's not like he's up at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Local and lazy. I like it already.
Right? Okay. And then we go here, and then we go.
He's probably watching Star Wars, and it's like he couldn't be bothered with coming here.
As long as you tell him to shut up.
God, I hate when I do stuff like this. I'm such an idiot. I probably shouldn't read his number out loud. See, I told you I was going to do that because I'm dumb.
There's a Q, a silent Q in the number, I think.
There we go. Okay.
French number.
Sorry about that, everybody. It's ringing.
867-5309. We're dialing you now. Here we go.
Okay. Jenny.
Jenny, Joe, and,
So this is either a 20, it's an American Wild Ale or a Brett beer, right?
we're calling it an American Wild Ale.
All right. Well, Brian, why don't you go ahead while we wait for Joe to get on the line here?
No.
Okay.
No. It's,
Joe, are you with us?
Hello?
Joe?
He is at
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, man?
bar.
Hey, JP. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Good.
All right, good. All right. So, sorry. I meant to call you, during the break, but that didn't happen.
I hated JP.
No problem.
We're trying to replace him with a professional show host. If anyone wants to apply.
Right.
The pay's great.
Yeah, the play's amazing. All right, Joe, let's talk about you and your homebrewing life, man. How long have you been a homebrewer?
Probably about, let's see, it's been since 2010, so I guess that makes almost
5 years or so. Yeah, okay. Are you a big, Brett guy, or is this your first kind of foray into this whole weird, wild ale Brett thing?
Yeah. Well, I have been, into the Brett thing for quite a while.
Okay.
I've done a couple sour ales, and this was probably my second or third Brett beer. I mean, it's not something I do all the time. I do a lot of clean beers too, but there's kind of a good story behind this particular beer as far as the yeast I got for it. So, I was pretty happy with the way this one came out, actually.
Yeah, I saw in your notes it's from the dregs of a bottle of something called Hill Farmstead Arthur. What is that? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's Hill Farmstead's a brewery in Vermont. It's kind of sort of a beer geeks kind of deal up there. A lot of beer geeks like to make that trek up there to Vermont to the brewery. And the story behind the yeast actually is I have a friend that does – no, it's okay. That is a microbiologist actually, and was able to culture up some of that yeast from a bottle of Hill Farmstead Arthur from the first batch, which I guess – is the primary yeast strain that they use, the Saison yeast with Brett in it. And he basically cultured it up and sent it out to a couple of home brewers. I was one of them that got it and was able to brew a batch with it. So it was kind of cool, kind of a neat experiment. Turned out pretty good, I think.
That's cool. Awesome. That is a good story.
I've heard about some good beer tours in Vermont. I haven't been out there yet, but some buddies have gone there, and it's supposed to be the place to be now. Yeah. They need to do a NHC there some year, maybe.
Right. That'd be a trip, man, for sure. All right, Brian. Well, let's get into this beer, and we'll talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, it was declared as a Brett beer. We're calling it 28A in the new 2015 guidelines, and entrants should let JP know when they say this is a 13A. Which guidelines are you going by this time?
So Joe, I don't know if you weard the last show or not, but we ran into the same problem. It's totally my fault where I didn't specify what guidelines we're using because I kind of forgot that they got updated. So Brian judged yours as a 28A, which is the American Wild Ale, and then we had Doc over here judging it from the old guidelines.
No.
We didn't.
The new ones that I just built.
We just judged this tonight together here in the studio.
Yeah.
He did tell us it was a 28A, which if you went to the 2808 guidelines, it would be a New England cider, which it obviously is not. So,
been amazing to judge it.
It doesn't even go up that high anymore. And the cider and mead styles now have a C or an M in front of them in the 2008. In the 2015 guidelines. So that's kind of cool. But
okay. All right. Well, then.
So it was obvious what this
mind.
was, and it's not JP's fault.
Okay, good.
We didn't misjudge it.
Not this one.
All right. It's definitely a 28A. Guideline.
No, it's
Absolutely.
nice to me that they have room for some of these American wild ales, and then before you just had to enter everything as a specialty, and that category just got overcrowded with all kinds of cool beers and a bunch of shitty ones too. But this one falls more on the cool side. The aroma is a solid Brett aroma. It has a lot of earthiness and some hay-like notes. It's not really extremely funky and barnyardy, goaty, sweaty or anything like that. It's just kind of a nice, smooth hay-like earth and a little bit of horse blanket maybe, but kind of medium light and medium low fruitiness. It's not extremely fruity, overall. I got kind of a light sour note in the aroma. The fruitiness that is there is kind of apricot-like and pretty pleasant. That's but medium low esters overall. It's not intense. And when I'm thinking Saison, that's why I'm spending so much time on the esters. It's like I want a big fruity beer, and even most often a Brett beer will be a little drier and fruitier than the base style might suggest. So I thought this would be a pretty big fruity beer, but it's kind of subdued on that front, and that's fine. It's nice the way it is. It smells really pleasant, but it lacks some of that orangey, lemony fruitiness that you get in some of the nicer Saisons there. So, but I mean, it just depends too. The Saisons have a wide range as well, so you can get a lot of different flavors in them too. But and aromas. But appearance-wise, it's a moderately hazy light gold beer. These beers can be a little hazy, from the Brett and some yeast and suspension. But you can still see through it okay. It's obviously we got a 750 ml bottle, and there's a nice layer of yeast at the bottom there. So it looks like this was bottle condition, re-fermented in the bottle, as they like to say. And so, it's a low whitish head that faded to color with fine bubbles in this glass fairly soon after pouring. So like a Saison, you expect to throw up a nice fluffy head, and this one didn't really have that. And so in the appearance, the haze can be forgiven, but the head should kind of be there a little better. That's okay. But so I had to drop it just a touch there. Anyway, and I'm the one who judged it as Brett beer with a Saison base. So bear with me here. I do enjoy the beer a lot. Flavor-wise, it comes through with a kind of a leathery, hay-like Brett flavor right front, up foremost, and with only a kind of supporting lightly spicy Saison-like character. I wanted a little more spice. I wanted a little more orangey and lemony fruit in there, and kind of a little cakiness that, some of the Saisons might have. It's just all Brett. I don't know how long it's been aged on the Brett, but it's a very pleasant Brett character that, what is there. And I really like the Brett aged character. It's not harsh and
it's very mellow,
nasty. It's it's mellow and smooth and pleasing. So, again,
it's
the
mild
aroma,
mannered Brett character.
Yeah, mild mannered Clark Kent, the Brett.
Because there are some strains that can, and it's a shame we don't know what they are, but they can be they become very aggressive. But this is definitely not it. You get the Brett character you want, but there is that kind of sweet, mild.
Yeah, you don't want it to get
well.
feeded and Band-Aid and too funky and cheesy and nail polished. There's a lot of different things that can come out of Brett too. So this kept it. It was happy Brett. It came out on the nice side there. So the aroma suggested some sourness. It's really only very lightly sour, and that's fine. There's not very much sourness there, but there's enough to kind of balance some of that hay-like quality and give it a little edge, but not enough to suggest much sweetness or fruitiness really either. So it's seems like the alcohol is somewhat subdued in this. It's either that or it's really smooth and deceptive, but it's a pleasing alcohol presence. You can detect some, but not too much. It's just smooth and drinkable. The bitterness is kind of just it is kind of moderately bitter, or I'm perceiving something as bitterness in here that's like probably also an element of the Brett, because all things flow back to the Brett in this beer.
I agree with you. I think it is a Brett thing.
But it has the perception of some bitterness to me. It tastes like, it doesn't taste hoppy. It just tastes a little bit bitter. But again, it's like some of that leatheriness from the Brett probably that's making me feel that way. So it's definitely, the balance is definitely all the way tilted towards the Brett character, and there's not as much to suggest the style. It finishes intensely dry. But it's still smooth, so I like that. Mouthfeel wise, it's kind of medium light bodied, medium low carbonation, and a bit of a tannic bite, a little astringency, and kind of a leathery feeling on the tongue. Kind of just a drying sensation that I get from the Brett that's pulled out all the sugars that were there and did what it wanted to with them. And there does seem to be a little bit of alcohol warmth there, so I'm thinking that it's probably somewhat alcoholic. I don't know what the ABV is, but it's a deceptive, pleasant alcohol delivery mechanism here. So it's overall mouthfeel is okay. It's not super smooth and creamy. It's not, the carbonation is maybe a little light. But it's, Actually, though, this one was also creeping up in the neck, so that's kind of, I might be off on the carbonation comment. I'll let Doc say what he will about it, but it kind of fell flat, like I said, in the appearance. The head kind of dropped, and it's not like
we've also had it open for a bit.
I'm not getting a huge carbonic bite in the mouthfeel, so that's where those comments come from. Anyway, I thought it was a nicely brewed wild Brett beer. Lacked a little bit of the declared base style, or it's just been aged out to the point where you can't taste it anymore. Should be a little fruitier, a little spritzier, with a better developed head and a bit of spice. There's not a lot of spice here. And also, it's kind of lower that bitterness or rough, if it's coming from the Brett, that edge. If you wanted it to be declared as a Saison, all that being said, it's still a very smooth beer, and it's a very pleasant drinking Brett beer. It's just a Brett beer. And as a Brett Saison, I gave it a 34. I thought it was pleasing. It was like, I need more of that style to really call it a Brett Saison. If it was just a Brett beer without a declared style, or just say a Brett Belgian beer or something, then I could maybe come up a little bit from there. I thought it's a fun beer to drink. So it's hard to, you have to peg it to the style and peg it to this and that. But
that's the hard
you
part
sit back and just enjoy this beer, and it's really nice to drink. So, kudos on that. I think it's well aged, and the Brett's doing what you want it to here. So
that's the tough part about categorizing stuff and classifying shit.
It's on the bottom here under, there's the check boxes for the judging stylistic accuracy. It skews towards the not to style, but then there's not really any big flaws in here. It's a nice beer. It leans more towards the flawless and the wonderful side of thing on the technical merit and intangibles. So, it's a very good beer. I really enjoyed it. So thanks for sharing it.
All right, Doc, you're up, buddy.
Well, I got nothing left to say.
I talk too much.
Just say what he didn't say then, I guess.
All right. Well, I didn't judge it as a Saison at all. I thought it would be better off not.
Yeah.
And it's a straight Brett beer. So, the aroma, I got, a sharp, a little acidic, maybe a little soapy. No hop aroma. Maybe a little diacetyl, but not any, just and I didn't get any of the taste. So, just, possibly and a little bit of phenolic, a little bit.
Okay.
Nice color. It's a nice light color. I like the little slight to moderate haze, but being in a cork and cage bottle, it's
yeah. What are you
you're gonna get some of that because the way JP handles stuff.
Oh God!
And so
you guys,
it's gonna get a little bit of that, and poured into the glass. The head didn't linger at all.
Yeah,
which is fine. We can live with that. We've had the far end of the scale tonight. Too.
Yeah.
Flavor, I got very dry, puckering. I don't, it has some acidic characters, but it's not like Cantillon acidic by any means.
No.
So it's there. It's just very dry, and then the acidity just comes through right at the end.
It's very nice. It's very nicely layered that way, I think.
I, too, like Brian, was kind of looking for, some maybe fruitier notes or something in there, and it wasn't. It was just, a straight Brett beer, which it kind of comes off as simple, which is kind of the beauty of the thing.
Right.
It's Brett beer. It's not over-bready, but you can tell it's a Brett beer right away. It's just simplicity is so nice with it. I would love to see this one as a blender. You make something else, and that's the thing about Brett beers. Is blending is fun, and I could see this blended with anything. You could make it a fruit Brett beer, something else with that, and blend it with this, and this would be just awesome.
Fairly neutral on a lot of other aspects, so it would be a nice player with a lot of other beers,
right? Exactly.
Sours, and
And the mouthfeel was great. I thought the carbonation level was just perfect. Not too carbonated, so it just added to the bite of it. It didn't. The acidity's still there; it's not apparent, but it doesn't linger either. It's not where it just lingers on you, and you just you wish you had an antacid on you.
Right.
even though the bitterness didn't linger too long. It's like the medium body, but really not thin. You would think this being simple and a dry beer like this, it would finish out thin, but it really doesn't. It's got a nice mouthfeel left to it.
For sure.
So basically, I give it a nice beer over. I really, really like this one. More malt flavor, something else in there as a standalone thing, but you can do that with blending.
Yeah.
So I give kudos to this beer all the way around. It's clean, it's simple, and kind of nice start to finish.
Yeah.
And so,
like this show.
Yes. So I scored it a 39. I really liked it.
Wow. Awesome. Cool.
Good. That might be towards where I would score it too if it was just presented as a Brett beer. It's like, it would get up.
I wasn't looking for it as a Saison.
Upper 30s. Yeah. That's fair. Absolutely.
Joe, do you have any questions for the guys?
Yeah. I mean, those comments were spot on. Actually, it's just a little background on the beer too. I like to do split batches with yeast a lot, so this beer was kind of brewed more as a Pilsner recipe, actually.
Oh, okay.
So, the recipe was actually 100% Pilsner malt and just a little bit of Hallertau at the beginning and then the very end of the boil. And half of it was fermented as a lager, and then the other half was with this yeast. That's the beer you're tasting. So the simplicity is definitely there. It's basically a smash beer, Pilsner malt, Hallertau hops, and that's it.
Yeah, Saison is going to have a lot of Belgian Pilsner malt too, so that will work with it.
Yeah, exactly. So I figured that would be a good way to test this yeast out. Do it because that's how I get multiple beers out of one batch. Is brew 10 gallons and split it up. 5 gallons with one yeast, 5 with the other. So yeah, it wasn't specific. If I was going to craft the Saison, I probably might have, put a little bit of wheat in there, or maybe a little bit of specialty malt or something to give it a little bit more malt depth. That's kind of what I was thinking, that it might have benefited maybe with a touch more, maybe some Munich malt or something like that. But, overall, I think it came out pretty good. And, it's funny that you mentioned that about blending, because that's exactly what I've been doing with this beer, with the bottles that I have left. I've been, I have a sour that I made about 2 years ago that turned out really, really tart, like tons of lactic acid. Really nice, a pleasant beer, but not a lot of funk to it. So I've been blending that one with this beer, and it's been like awesome. Just totally, really good with the funky Brett character of this beer, and then the nice lactic acidity of the other one. So
perfect.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Yeah. So
Joe, we're losing you.
But I like what his idea of getting to the character of the yeast, and just seeing what the yeast is by using a very neutral base beer recipe, and letting that yeast character develop to see what this Brettanomyces is going to do, and letting it get happy in just a neutral beer. And I have also at home, I have my funk beer, where I have like a really Brett heavy beer that I use for blending in my sours. And I'll do like a nice sour with like one of those lactic heavy things, and something that has a little acetic, and get a little bit of that going. And if you taste that just by itself, it's just like a one-trick pony, and then you add the Brett element in it, and it just brings out a whole new world. And it's like, oh yeah, there's the balance for this.
Right.
I really like that. That's a fun way to go. And Doc picked it out right away. That's cool.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yeah, exactly. It's been a great blending beer.
Cool. That's cool. It's good. It's good. I like not only drinking it alone, but finding an alternate use for it too. I think it's pretty cool. Anything else for the guys, Joe? Anything else you can think of?
No.
Okay.
No.
Cool.
It covered everything. Yeah, I appreciate you guys giving me some feedback.
Awesome.
Do we know what strain of Brett it's supposed to be, or
no?
Not, it's just from that
bottle.
bottle.
From a bottle.
No,
yeah.
I have no idea what it is, and that's why it's probably good not even to judge it as a Saison, because I honestly don't even know what strain this is at all. So apparently it's a pretty secretive yeast. So
no, we got you.
It's the magic yeast from their first batch of Arthur,
right?
That no one else can get except you.
All right, Joe. Thanks, man.
Lucky bastard.
All right, thanks.
Have fun with that.
Talk to you later.
Keep blending. Cheers.
Bye.
All right.
Later. Cool.
That was fun.
Good
yeah,
beer.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's wrap the show up, dude. I'm really excited about everything. So, so we have a few things to give away. We have, of course, our two normal great sponsors, which are Grog Tag and High Gravity Homebrew and winemaking supplies. But this is the month where we also give away a beer bug.
Ooh.
And I
don't even have one of those.
I'm really excited about the beer bug. And I forgot Brian's beer bug. I forgot it. I'm supposed to bring it to you. I'll mail it to you. That'll be much easier for me. But in case you guys don't know, you check out thebeerbug.com /TBN. And what the beer bug is, it's a Wi-Fi enabled device, essentially, that sits on top of your fermenter with like a weight, I guess, for lack of a better term, that is hung inside your beer. And it tells you so much information about what's going on. You get your gravity, there's a temperature function, alcohol content. This thing is seriously awesome. It gives you peace of mind. You know what's going on with your beer. You can watch your fermentation in real time, which I like to do. It's pretty fun. You can view your data anywhere on the web, Android and iPhone, compatible. You can compare batch to batch to batch. You can share it with your friends. Hey, if you do a joint batch, maybe a club, hey, we did this big barley wine. How's it going? Everyone can have access to this thing, and you can share your fermentation graph.
Fermentation curve.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, the Beer Bug, they're a relatively new sponsor, and they're letting us give away one of these awesome products a month. So, thanks to Taylor and the guys over there. It's pretty cool. So, the winner of the Grog Tag $40, at least your beer will look good gift certificate. Now, this is what I love about the show, because we have two really good beers, and I hate, this is one of those rare times I hate saying that it's second place, because it goes to the lowest score technically, and that's why it's at least your beer will look good. It's kind of our little tongue-in-cheek thing, but this goes to Jen and her Black IPA.
Her beer did look good too, so
yeah, it was great
appearance.
So Jen, you're going to be getting in touch with Todd there of our Grog Tag, and he'll set you up with a $40 gift certificate, and you can check out the tasting mats and the coasters and all this kind of stuff, and don't forget to back their Kickstarter campaign too, grogtag.com/Kickstarter. So that means Joe, who we just spoke with, gets the High Gravity Homebrew and winemaking supplies, a little prize pack they're going to send you there too. You can go to highdgravitybrew.com and check out all this kind of fun stuff. They have a lot of really cool electric brewing stuff, little great kits and recipes and all that kind of stuff. Check them out, highdgravitybrew.com. And then we decided, gentlemen, during the last break, to give the beer bug to Joe. And we thought about this a little bit, and the way I figure it, if you're going to do Brett beers, you kind of need to know what's going on in your beer, right? You need some solid numbers. You need some good data, and I think the beer bug can deliver this stuff to him, especially if he does a lot of Brett beers. Is it done? Where is it sitting at? What's going on? This way you don't kind of have to futz around with it, right? I mean.
Yeah. He's brewing some clean beers too, and he said he's doing a lot of different things. So
yeah, I think it's going to be a multi-tool, and usually we give it to someone who kind of needs a lot of the help. Not necessarily that their beer is bad, but if there's a fermentation issue or whatever. And Jen is brewing clean beers, and I think she kind of has everything down. And not that Joe doesn't, but I think that Joe's going to get a little more benefit out of it because he's, like you said, Brian, he's doing a lot of stuff. Right?
Yeah, the tweaky types that want to experiment a little bit.
Tweaky types. Not tweakers.
No.
Tweaky types.
Like to tweak with the recipes and tweak with the fermentations and
for what to tweak with.
Bugs and
cool. Well,
we just decided.
Yeah, it was a good show, Doc. Thanks, man. I hope you come back.
The real doctor.
The real doctor, the only doctor in the room. If you're hungering for some other shows to check out, man, don't forget we got the session, every once in a while, and the Sour Hour, and all that kind of stuff, man. Jamil shows are still alive and kicking, so check everything out, man. Don't forget we got a wide range of stuff. Anyway, this has been Dr. Homebrew, everyone, and we'll see you later.